Hi, Sharanya. Thanks for joining me today. To start, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. And thanks for having me. My name is Sharanya. I'm currently a senior at NYU studying finance and sustainable business with a minor in gender and sexuality studies. And I guess the club that I'm part of on campus is called the Strategic Venture Society.
Awesome. Yeah, really excited to chat with you about that today. Kind of curious, how did you first learn about the club?
Yeah, for sure. Well, in high school, I was really interested in entrepreneurship and I had my own little business running. And so coming into college, I knew I really wanted to find more entrepreneurial stuff. But I also knew that Stern specifically is very finance focused. And
Mhm.
so to explore kind of the intersection of that, to me, it seemed like venture capital was a good combination of both. So I learned about SVS or Strategic Venture Society my freshman fall, joined the club through the mentorship program, and have been part of it ever since.
Sweet. And before we dive into questions about the club, I was hoping maybe you could share just some more background information on it. So I know it was started in 2015. Maybe can you share just like high level what the club is, maybe how many people are in the club, and we kind of go from there.
For sure. So the Strategic Venture Society, we are the premier VC club at the undergraduate Stern School of Business. So we really do a lot of anything related to VC or startups. We really want to foster a community of students that were interested in those two industries. And high level, we have a mentorship program. That's how people are introduced to our club. And then after they complete that semester-long program, we work with VCs and startups in both in New York City and around the world to kind of consult for them and help them with projects that they might be interested in. We also have a podcast, and we've gone through various iterations of our different programs throughout the years. But right now we have one mentorship program, one post-mentorship program, and then we also have our own online blog.
Cool. And is the mentorship program the same thing as just like the general meetings, or is that different?
So it is a little bit different. And it's kind of, I guess, a result of the way that NYU Stern, I guess, specifically has structured their club programming. So we have general meetings every Tuesday that's open to any member in the community. So any NYU student, regardless of what school or regardless if they're undergrad or grad student, can come to our meetings. That's where we have a lot of guest speakers come in. This semester, we've had a lot of really cool people. We had a partner from Sequoia, a partner from General Catalyst, another one from General Atlantic. So like really big firms have been gracious enough to come in and speak to our students. But then our mentorship program is one that students would actually have to apply into at the beginning of the semester. We do have a more of a lengthy process, so you have to go through a written application and then 2 rounds of interviews before we finally have our, I guess, cohort of students for the semester, and then they go through a rigorous 9 to 10 week boot camp essentially about the essentials of VC, so a lot of VC financing, how that works, valuation in general. We do a week on design, and then we also have kids pitch startups to our e-board. And after that, they are kind of just part of SVS.
Gotcha. And making sure I understand just the initiatives correctly, like is the mentorship team also separate from the venture team, or is that are you referring to something?
Yeah, so venture team is our mentorship program at SVS.
Okay, cool. And for going back just to the general meetings, I want to double click on something. So you mentioned some of the speakers that came in. I also saw that you guys have just different workshops. What are maybe some of the workshops that are covered during the general meetings?
Yeah. So usually at the beginning of the semester, we do a workshop called What the Fund is VC, just to introduce students to how venture capital works in general, just a very high level, because a lot of freshmen that come in, they have heard the term venture capital, or maybe they even haven't, but we really want to show them what exactly it is and introduce them to it. So that's one of the workshops that we run quite often. We've also done Design 101 in the past. So we really emphasize good design at SVS. We think that design helps create user experience and is really important. So we teach students how to use Figma. That's our preferred design platform. And then we also just have like some fun events or fun general meetings sometimes. Like we sometimes do the valuation is right, which is like our parody on the Price is Right. So we'll have like startups and like their valuation, what they raised their last funding round at, and then we have students try to guess how much they're worth, and then we eventually will have like one winner.
Sweet. And then transitioning towards like the venture team, the mentorship program, I saw that students leave with 5 portfolio projects. Can you talk a little bit more about what they're accomplishing through this program?
Yeah. So I guess the overarching goal of the venture team program is really to get people into like the venture capital mindset. On like, there's a company, a lot of times like they don't have revenues yet, or just an idea, or they just got product, but maybe there's not too much traction yet. So like, how do you look at a startup at like very early stages and understand like its potential, like, and just like analyze companies that are that early. So we really try to get them into like that VC mindset. So to do that, we have a lot of deliverables every week. So 3 out of the 9 weeks of our program are pitches. So that's when students will come prepared with their own pitch on a company of their choice or an industry of their choice. So we do one early stage pitch, one growth stage pitch, and then one industry pitch. So they pitch to our e-board as if we were VC investors that are looking to invest in the startup. And that's a really great way for students to just get like hands-on experience, I guess, in terms of actually understanding how maybe a startup founder would want to pitch to a VC. And then also as they're practicing their pitch, like what questions is eBoard going to answer or ask, and try to figure out like what is important to a VC and what's not. So those are like 3 of our portfolio projects. And then we also have just in general, like industry reports, we have like an IPO evaluation, and different like deliverables like that throughout the semester.
Cool. And then I saw you guys do like external work with New York-based VC firms. Like, who are some of the VC firms that you've worked with in the past or are working with today?
Yeah. Well, the project that I'm working on currently is with a VC firm called Vessi Ventures. We're also working with some other VCs such as City Ventures, like the corporate VC of City, and then Mac Ventures. We also have, we're working with General Atlantic and General Catalyst, either currently or for next semester.
Cool. And what's an example of like a project that you're working on with them?
Yeah, I guess I could talk about the project that I'm currently working on. So Vessi Ventures, they are a fintech VC. They're very early stage, and they really wanted to learn more about kind of like the Gen Z perspective on fintech, like what's the next like sector within fintech that is going to specifically appeal to Gen Z. And so me and a couple of other students who are on the project have been just going through some different industries and specifically researching re-commerce, carbon accounting, and neobanks as like our 3 sectors that would appeal to Gen Z. So this entire semester, we've just done a lot of industry research, and now we're going to be pitching a couple startups to the partners there tomorrow, actually. So our project is coming to an end. But in the past, we've also done projects where we've created marketing material for funds that are looking to raise their next fund for like LPs. We've helped a VC market their accelerator to startups. So things like that, really, it's anything that a VC might be interested in having a couple students just work on for like 5 to 10 hours a week throughout the semester.
That's awesome. And I know you mentioned earlier that for the venture team, you have to like apply. There's an interview process. Can you talk more about just like what you're looking for during that application process?
Yeah. So the application process is, like I said, very lengthy, but we really do encourage as many people who are interested to apply. And so I think what we're looking for is people who can kind of see something like maybe in the news or like look at a startup, but not just like take it at face value, but maybe think about it a little bit more, like go deeper into what like this news means for like whatever industry it's in. So for example, for our first round of interviews, it's usually just behavioral questions, but our second round is a little bit more technical in the aspect of we'll have people go into like a newsroom where they can talk about news that they read this past week and like what they think it means for like just a general VC or startup space. And then we have like a reading room where you have to read an article and come prepared to talk about it with the interviewers. So this past semester we had a article about design and how it's about creating like experience, not just like aesthetical purposes. So we really want to see who's able to like understand the concepts and be able to analyze it further than just what they're seeing.
Cool. And making sure, I think on the website it says you don't need any prior experience in like VC or tech to apply to this. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. We're not looking for what you've done in the past. We're really just looking for how you're able to articulate your thoughts and form opinions on material that we give you.
Cool. And for the external work that you do, is it just people who graduated from the venture team are now working on that? Or is it like a separate application process or yeah?
Yeah, so it is the people who graduate from our mentorship program, so from venture team. Essentially, the idea is like venture team gets them into that like mindset of how VCs look at startups, and then semester after, once they graduate, they get the opportunity to actually apply those skills and network with VCs or founders that they get to work with.
Cool. And I think one other thing maybe to mention, I think on your website it said for the venture team, it's only open to first and second year undergraduate students. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then last question around like the application stuff and like who can apply these things. For the general meetings, is that open to any undergraduate or is that open to graduate students as well? Or yeah, what about the general meetings?
Yeah, the general meetings are open to anyone at NYU. You do need like an NYU ID, of course, to get into the building. So it is only NYU, but any student at the college.
Awesome. And what do you see as like the biggest opportunities to improve NYU SVS?
It's a good question. I think about this a lot. I think we want to focus, and I think we've started to do this a lot more, but we want to focus a lot more on like our external facing, like marketing and just reporting on things that we've done. I think we do a really good job of like figuring out or like promoting our club and community within like Stern specifically. We also do have outreach into like other colleges as well within NYU, but it is a little bit harder to reach maybe like other schools within the university. So that's something that we want to work on a little bit more, like attracting students from all colleges, not just specifically Stern. But then also like showcasing the work that we do on external platforms like LinkedIn or like Twitter or whatever it is, where we can have like professionals that we work with keep in touch with us and have like guest speakers who maybe come in once or twice to like also just see the work that we've been doing continuously. So really working on kind of like the more professional marketing instead of just student marketing.
Awesome. And last question, is there anything I didn't ask about that you think is important to know for a student who's considering this club?
Yeah, I guess I do want to mention we have two programs that they could potentially apply to. So it's Venture Team, that's our main one, that's our mentorship program. But maybe if you're a junior or senior, so you're not like a first year or second year student, or you want something a little bit more low commitment, then we have our Venturist program, which is basically our like in-house publication. We have our own newsletter, and every couple of weeks we have a new article from one of our student writers released. So I know someone was just wrote an article about like divorce tech. There's a lot of articles about like sustainability, AI. So if you're just interested in venture capital, like the startup space in general, and don't want to commit to maybe that rigorous venture team program, then we also do have the Venturist, where you can just, it's a lot more low commitment. You write an article once a month and then we'll publish you, we'll do the marketing for you, but it's also a really great opportunity.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw it on the website, and I think it's framed as like Gen Z's take on tech and venture capital trends. Is that sort of still like the main theme, or have you guys kind of broadened it out?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's mostly I would say still Gen Z and like our perspectives on startups. Of course, like we don't necessarily cater only to like Gen Z focused articles. Like we'll write about anything, but because it's from like our students, it still has like that unique Gen Z perspective.
Awesome. Great way to finish. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, well, thank you. It was great chatting.